Hey YouTube, today we're going to look at my planted jar aquarium using principles from the Wallstead method. So as part of this update, we're going to look at what it looks like today. We're going to check on all the existing plants and see how they're doing. And we're also going to cover 3 additions that I've added to the jar since the last time you saw it. Let's go take a look. So I kind of mentioned when I first started this jar that I was a little nervous because I've never done anything like this, so it's kind of a learning experience for me. But I have to say, if you look at it today, I feel pretty good about the progress so far. So first we'll start with the Dwarf Sanj. This stuff has really taken off. Take a look at how it was day 1, and now take a look at it today. Tons of new growth and it's going wild. I'm really having fun watching this plant and it's doing really well. Now as far as the Anacris goes, I wasn't super thrilled with how it's doing. It wasn't doing terribly. I've noticed most new growth is on the piece that's actually floating at the top of the jar. We'll see how the Anacris does in the long term. Maybe it just took a little while to adjust and now it's starting to take off. Now for the Java Fern. This seems to be doing okay. I added a new addition and we'll get to that in a little while, but this new addition started munching on the old leaves. So that might tell me that some of the old leaves were dead and not doing so well, and that's why they're getting eaten. First up for the new additions is the Popos plant that you saw in the beginning of this video. I decided to take a picture each day when I noticed new growth, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I chose to put this Popos in this jar because it looks cool having greenery on the outside of the jar coming out the top of the jar, and it also has a benefit of soaking nitrates and keeping the water quality up. Next for the additions is 2 Marimo moss balls. I actually ordered 1, but 2 came in the mail, which is okay by me. If you don't know the story or any of the interesting facts behind the Marimo moss balls, click the link and check out my video on them. The final new addition to the jar was a ram's horn snail. So depending on the story you've heard, it's probably hard to decide if they're a friend of the planted aquarium or an enemy. I've actually believed that they're a good friend of the planted jar because it can eat dead plant matter, can stir up the soil, and just help the general health of the aquarium. I believe that they don't eat healthy plant material, they eat the dead or dying plants. So that would explain to me why he's eating the Java Fern. I think the Java Fern wasn't doing so well and he ate the dying leaves. Otherwise, I think I'm happy with him. I'm just going to keep an eye and make sure he doesn't wreak havoc and make sure I'm not wrong on this. If you have any experience, good or bad, with a ram's horn snail, leave a comment below. So in this planted jar aquarium, I'm using principles from the Wallstead method. So I'm not using filtration, I'm not dosing fertilizers, and I'm not really doing many water changes. So you might ask, you say you need to feed plants like you feed your fish. They get fed through the nutrient-rich substrate, as well as anything that the snail produces as far as waste. So the substrate in this jar is 88 aqua soil. I used the last of it, that's all I had, and I threw it in this jar to use for a substrate. The lighting in this jar is just your average desk lamp. The reason why this lighting is enough is all of the plants I chose to use can survive in low light conditions. And finally, the wood is a small piece of Malaysian driftwood. I added that just for visual appearance. So there's my progress on my planted jar aquarium. Remember, if I can do aquarium plants, so can you. I'll see you next time.